Hello, beautiful people. We are here with Condensed Chaos by Hines. This is part 15. We had to skip out yesterday. I had my 24-hour Aikido grading, locking down in that dojo for 24 hours straight. Most people think that's insane, and it is, but it isn't, because it's good for your mental fortitude, self-belief, self-discipline, and just, pushing yourself to that next level and believing that you can do something, and then coming off with that reward at the end. But anyway, let's get into this readout, shall we? This is going to be a good read. I'm looking forward to it. Listen up. Time. Regular practice takes time, which is a commodity that not all of us have in the same degree. For example, many practical magic workbooks recommend that you assiduously do a particular practice at the same hour each day. This is fine if your lifestyle allows you to rigorously plan your day, but for others, it is impossible. In setting up your own schedules for practice, it is essential that you be realistic about the amount of free time that you can allot to practice. If you absolutely cannot do a daily practice, then give yourself a schedule that you know you have a better chance of keeping to. It is only useful to set practice schedules if you know that you can realistically find the free space to stick to them. If you set an unrealistic practice schedule, then it is likely that you will not be able to keep to it, which will not improve your confidence. I have found that on average, it is better to practice an exercise for a short time frequently than for a long period infrequently. So that 5 minutes of meditation on a daily basis is more beneficial than half an hour every 3 weeks. Likewise, it is easier to begin some exercises by attending them for a few minutes than to basically just strain yourself. You want to slowly increase the duration. There's no point in trying to run before you can walk, especially when it comes to magic, where it is very easy to fall flat on your face. Taking a break. One point that must be taken into account is that it is very easy to get into a situation where you find that you have overloaded yourself with magical work to do. This is not good practice, as it is increasing the possibility that you will get bogged in inertia. If you find that this is the case, then take a holiday from active magical work. This is particularly useful if you find yourself reading too many magical books without giving yourself time to assimilate their contents. Taking a break from active magical work can be a magical act in its own right. Set a period during which you don't read any magical texts or do any active practice other than perhaps a simple daily meditation. Paradoxically, you may find this difficult to do, particularly if you have placed a good deal of importance on becoming a magician. By giving yourself a short breathing space, you will find that you can approach practice with a renewed freshness. Stages of learning. When learning a new skill, there are 3 stages that we go through, which it is well to be aware of. When we initially begin some new practice, there is, hopefully, a higher level of enthusiasm. The results of the practice are good, and we can feel the benefits of what we are doing. So far, so good. At some stage, though, we pass into the dry phase of acquiring a skill. At this point, it becomes boring. This is the time when all the excuses for not doing something, all the little get-out clauses that we resort to are at their most powerful. It is the hump that students on long degree courses experience, and the phase when it seems easier to give up rather than push on. Indeed, many people do quit magical development at this stage, as they suddenly find that the benefits they have experienced earlier suddenly dry up and vanish. Our advice is to grit your teeth and hang on in there. It won't last forever, though at times it might seem like it. If you can get over the hump, then you may well be surprised to find that gradually you feel different about what you are doing. That you can see the benefit of something that, for a time, you felt was pointless and boring, and even that you are quite enjoying it. A lot of our early learning is like this, though we tend to forget how teachers pushed us to read, write, and add up. The process moves from being a new enjoyable game to being a boring imposition, to being something that we one day realize that we can do without effort. A great deal of magical skills and abilities from meditation to clairvoyance are learned in this way. self-assessment. This is the ability to make judgments about your own progression, as magic can be at times a nebulous subject with vague terms of reference. Self-assessment can be difficult. A great part of some magical systems is the development of a symbolic frame of reference in which the student can place herself in terms of where she is, where she was, and where she is going. As you will see in the following section on magical dangers, it is all too easy for magicians to develop an inflated sense of their own enlightenment, but equally, it is similarly easy to deny according yourself with making any progress at all. The magical diary is a great help here. You may not think that you've progressed in a given length of time, but providing you've been keeping a record of your practice, then you should be able to see some differences between when you began the practice and where you are now. Being able to assess yourself is an important yet sometimes underrated aspect of magical development. Some students turn to teachers or gurus to tell them where they are, which can bring its own problems, especially if one comes to expect a guru to take total responsibility for everything. And some so-called teachers are only too willing to do this. When it comes down to it, the one who knows you best, of course, is yourself. Alright, we're going to stop it there. We will be back tomorrow with more Condensed Chaos.